say a lot on the show that process is punishment for the left, that they've understood that for a long time, abusing the legal system and the judicial system to hijack the bureaucracy and destroy liberty and freedom. That's what they do. Well, I got that from this guy, a guest, a friend, good man, runs Judicial Watch over there. Tom Fitton, welcome to the show. It's great to have you.
Hey, Dan, good to be with you again. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, that's your thing. You told me that a long time ago. Dan, process is punishment, man. The left figured it out a long time ago. We got to start figuring that out, too. But I wanted you on today to comment about Dr. Fauci. Now, Judicial Watch is one of the finest organizations out there, folks. They've gotten to the bottom of so many scandals. By the way, involving swamp rats from both parties, which I love. But Dr. Fauci, he's retiring, Tom, and kind of suspicious, the timing of that, right? Like, what's up with that?
Well, I found it curious that just a day or two after we announced that the FBI at least had been investigating his shady gain-of-function grant to the Wuhan Institute that they have been dishonest about and dissembling about since day one, he announces his retirement. And when you look at this latest batch of documents we obtained under a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit, you'll see, we now know that the FBI had been investigating him back in May 2020, at least the grant that is at issue, which is the gain-of-function research grant. And going back as far as 2016, his people were concerned about the gain-of-function research they were funding in China. Now, compare and contrast that to Fauci testifying, it's not gain-of-function research. It's clear it was gain-of-function research. That's what the records show they were worried about, and the description is gain-of-function research. And on top of that, the FBI wasn't even believing it because evidently they were investigating it. So I have no doubt that his retirement has more to do with his fear of accountability than wanting to spend more time with the family.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking at clearly licking his finger, seeing where the political winds are blowing. 2022, even if it's not a great night for Republicans, just a good one, it seems highly likely at a minimum they'll take the House, which, as you know, you've been involved in this game a lot longer than me. Chairmanships change. The Republicans will be in charge. They'll get to do investigations themselves. And it's fairly obvious at this point that they're going to want to look into what our role was in creating this corona COVID super virus out there. And Fauci, Tom, what bothers me most about the left's just almost reflexive defense of Fauci all the time is they tell us big government's a good thing, right? I mean, we're simplifying, but they get it. Everything's big government. The government has a solution, private sector doesn't. So we hire people in big government like Fauci. He's a public servant. He's not your orthodontist. He's not your podiatrist. He's paid by you, Tom Fitton and me, a handsome salary. And then the left protects him as if he's beyond reproach. It's not personal. I don't know the guy. I don't want to have coffee with him. He works for us, and he's made some clearly bad decisions.
That's right. And supposedly he's supposed to be an apolitical appointee, meaning, he's a civil servant, more or less, the highest paid civil servant in all the government. But he's supposed to be apolitical. And, it's clear his decision to retire with the end of the Biden administration, at least the first term, shows that he considers himself to be a political operator. And I tell you, when you look at these documents, what's so frustrating about them is that we're being told, and, with some good reason, that coronavirus, the COVID-19 was a massive issue, right? Countless deaths. Yeah. The destruction of economies, the destruction of livelihoods, and freedom that we're still suffering under. Yet we're getting information showing the FBI was looking into how it potentially developed. We're getting information showing that Fauci and his people were sending money by the bucketfuls to China, not only the Wuhan Institute, but other groups in China that evidently were doing gain-of-function type research. And the media pretends it's no big deal. In fact, it's the biggest deal that one could come up with when you're looking at what government did in a way that may have endangered the public health in ways we hadn't seen in world history before.
Yeah. We're talking to Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch. Go look them up online. Get on their email list. It is worth your time. They expose a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff in Benghazi, Spygate. These guys have been all over it. Tom, your thoughts on the latest astonishing revelations by Dr. Deborah Birx, who amazingly put this in a book. I can't describe the level of stupid to do this. Dr. Deborah Birx on the COVID task force, who just admitted in her book that they basically hid data from the Trump administration. I mean, what the hell could you be thinking to write that in a book?
Yeah, I mean, there are admissions, in my view, of crimes that ought to be investigated by, not that I have much faith in it, the Justice Department or Inspector Generals. I mean, when you manipulate data, withhold information, you're engaged in a type of fraud. And we all know what would happen if it was a political operative or a political appointee or even a bureaucrat who was friendly to the Trump administration. They'd be the target of pre-dawn raids by the FBI. And this goes for Fauci, too. I think the gain-of-function scandal needs to be subject to a criminal investigation. I know the FBI was snooping around in 2020. I suspect they haven't done much since. And same with Miss Birx, Dr. Birx. I mean, she was lying to government officials and manipulating data. How is that not fraud in a way that would raise criminal issues?